Good afternoon and welcome. What a happy, happy, happy occasion. I was reminded recently that it really didn't matter what I said today because the graduates have other things on their mind. And you well deserve to. I will say that my name is Tina Combs, and I'm from the class of 1988. Dating myself quite a bit, I also serve as chair of the board of directors for UC Hastings College of the Law. And on behalf of the board, the faculty, the administration, and the staff, I'd like to warmly welcome everyone here today, and I take great pleasure in calling to order the 138th Commencement Ceremony for the University of California, Hastings College of the Law. I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge a number of people, including my colleagues on the board. We have with us Director Mary Noel Pepys, Director Don Bradley, and Director Adrian Go. But more importantly, I'd like to acknowledge our illustrious faculty, our staff, who work tirelessly year after year to support the efforts of the law school. And I'd like to acknowledge the many family, friends, partners, and others who have supported you to get to this day. Today we celebrate with pride your dedication and your accomplishments, because it's no small feat to get to this point. I'm not so old that I don't remember the sheer terror I felt sitting in class in contracts, waiting to be called on, or trying to understand what consideration was, or the rule of perpetuities. But I trust that by now, you've got it. Thanks to the efforts of the faculty and your own efforts. At UC Hastings, we're at a crossroads in yet greater achievement and with regard to our reputation. And your graduation is the fulfillment of your dedication and hard work, and your extraordinary contribution by your sheer presence, your participation, your contribution to the dialogue that's occurred during the 3 years that you've been here. I had a moment to think about some of the great lawyers of our time, and I called on my good friend Google. And I just wanted to cross-check my own thoughts about that. And there are a couple of names that'll be familiar. One of those is Abraham Lincoln. Another is Thurgood Marshall. Another, Hillary Clinton. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. There are a few others, I should say many others, that are not mentioned. People like Charles Hamilton Houston, or Constance Baker Motley, some of the early architects of the civil rights movement, and a movement that would lay the foundation for other movements that would support the work of people like Ruth Bader Ginsburg and others. Many names. There are lawyers who are famous in our own environment, like the late Jeff Adachi. And yet many more. But it occurred to me that, and I'm often reminded that, we need to remember that we don't have to be famous in this time of Instagram and Twitter and Facebook to make a difference. That it's often the quiet work, the diligence, the commitment, and the willingness to serve that has a lasting impact. And that's something that I just wanted to remind each of you as you go on and think about the practical considerations, like paying off student loans, getting that first job, passing the bar. And yet you'll do all of those things. You will. Do trust me. But after you do those things, and perhaps while you're doing those things, remember that our legacy isn't just in our notoriety or our wealth and bank accounts or the number of likes that we get, but rather our legacy is really based on our character and our willingness to take a moment and realize that we're part of a larger community. It starts with our families, our friends, but there's a big community around us. It's expansive in this country, and as I said, we're at a pivotal time in Hastings history, but we're at a pivotal time in the history of this country and the history of this world. And each of you, whether you know it or not, is a leader. And you may be called on, you will be called on to lead and make decisions. And it's my prayer that you'll do so with courage and conviction, because sometimes it will take courage to do what you feel is the right thing. With that, I'll stop preaching. I did acknowledge one of our most illustrious alums, the Honorable Willie Brown. I'll leave some of the further preaching and teaching to him. He's well experienced in that. And I'll just go on to say that as you move forward, I know that you join us now as the future lawyers, legislators, mediators, judges, legal scholars, and partners in business. And I do believe you'll go on to make a difference in the world. We look forward to your accomplishments, and we welcome you as alumni. And on behalf of the Board of Directors, it's again our honor to share this very important day with you and your families. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you our Chancellor and Dean, David Fagman.
Thank you, Chair Combs. Good afternoon. Welcome to the graduates of the class of 2019. On behalf of UC Hastings, I welcome you and congratulate you and your families. We're here today to recognize and honor our graduates, of whom we are all extremely proud. John Adams said, quote, "There are two types of education. One should teach us how to make a living, and the other how to live. I am confident that UC Hastings provided the former, and I hope that we have contributed to the latter. We also want to recognize and thank the families and friends of our graduates. None of us succeeds alone. However far we travel in this world, it is our family and friends that have given us a safe harbor from which to venture forth and to which we can always return. Please join me in recognizing your families and friends whose love, support, and encouragement have made this day possible. Please also join me in recognizing your faculty. Henry Adams said, "Teachers affect eternity. They can never tell where their influence stops." We are very fortunate indeed to have a faculty who are dedicated to their profession, their school, and most importantly, to you, their students. To our faculty. I also want to thank those who make this event possible. It's quite the event. There are more than 50 staff members from across the college here working to make this day memorable and special for all of our graduates, guests, and their families. Thank you to all those who have kindly given your time today and for all that you do throughout the year. To our staff, thank you. At UC Hastings, we believe the delivery of pro bono services is an integral part of legal education and the practice of law. The full term is pro bono publico, which translates as for the public good. Winston Churchill described succinctly what we get from giving. He said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." The California Bar, state bar associations across the country, and the American Bar Association all encourage attorneys to devote at least 50 hours annually to the provision of free legal services. The class of 2019 took this pledge to provide pro bono services to heart with 171 of today's graduates, including 7 LLM graduates, participating in the program. Of those participating in the pro bono program, 53 members of the class of 2019, including 4 LLM graduates, have met UC Hastings' pro bono goal and are recognized as members of the Pro Bono Society. 7 of these graduates, including 1 LLM graduate, went even further and met the aspirational pro bono goal set for licensed attorneys and are recognized today for outstanding achievement in pro bono work. Together, the class of 2019 provided more than 6,000 hours of pro bono services. At a very conservative billing rate of $100 per hour, which is not a bad rate, at least for an academic, these graduates provided over $600,000 in legal services. We hope that this spirit of pro bono is a commitment all of our graduates will continue to live up to throughout their professional lives. With the graduates receiving pro bono recognition, please stand so we can applaud you. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce the first of our 2 student speakers. The valedictorian is a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class with the highest grade point average after completion of 5 semesters at UC Hastings. This year's valedictorian is Jennifer Bentley. Among Jennifer's accomplishments, she was a senior articles editor for the Hastings Law Journal and published her student note in this year's volume. She earned the Best Brief Award for Moot Court and a remarkable 13 Cowley and Whitkin Awards for academic excellence. She served as a teaching assistant for 3 different first-year classes and was a SAC teaching fellow for a 4th. Last year, she competed on the moot court team, and this year, through the Hastings Appellate Project, argued and won a case before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. She just returned from Chicago yesterday, where she was awarded first place in the American College of Coverage Council's law school writing competition. The accomplishment she is most proud of, however, is that she raised 2 amazing daughters, both of whom are now college graduates and will be handing out applications for law school to them before they leave today. Prior to coming to Hastings, she worked full-time in the field of commercial insurance while completing her undergraduate degree at St. Mary's College in Leadership and Organizational Studies. After taking the bar exam, she will be clerking at the Supreme Court of Hawaii for Justice Paula Nakayama, herself a Hastings graduate, before returning to San Francisco to practice at Ferroa, Braun & Martel. Please welcome to the podium, Jennifer Bentley.
Thank you, Dean Fagman, for that rousing introduction. I expect my phone to blow up now with party invitations, now that you all know just how much fun I am. Thank you. And on behalf of myself and the class of 2019, thank you families, friends, and partners for your sacrifice these past 3 years. You have had to accept less of us as we poured ourselves into law school. We had less time to socialize, were slow to return phone calls, and did not do our fair share around the house. Yet you graciously cheered us on, kept us fed, and kept us sane. Thank you. And thank you to the people at admissions for letting me in. You see, I came from a working class background with a below median LSAT and a transcript that showed my community college grades from the 90s, and they weren't pretty. I am proud to stand here now and say that I am a first-generation professional. My eldest daughter was actually the first person in our family to graduate from college, and I was a year behind her. UC Hastings was a reach for me. I had chanced myself at just 1 in 3, but I got in. You saw something in me and offered me admission, and for that, I will be forever grateful. But fortunately, I also saw something in me and believed that it was not too late for me to pivot and chase my childhood dream. Thank you. My fellow graduates, we have been on this journey for 142 weeks. Yes, I counted them. I also did some other calculations. If you are like me, during that time, you took 15 final exams, created 810 pages of outlines, drank 2,982 cups of coffee, and attended over 40 moot court practices. But these are just some of the items that I counted. What I didn't count, the number of times I raised my hand in class, the number of beers we drank, or the hours that we spent laughing and commiserating together. Some things should not, indeed cannot, be quantified, but they can be remembered. And while I will probably not remember most of the dean's speeches or emails, the lectures that I heard, or all but the most cringeworthy job interviews, I will remember each of you. I will remember the way you made me feel and the community we built here. Something that I have struggled with since starting law school is the feeling that thinking like a lawyer was replacing my humanity. I was fortunate to have participated in the individual representation clinic this last semester with Professor Spencer as my supervising attorney. Her words of wisdom to me, I share now with you. Keep being human. It sounds deceptively simple, but what does it mean? Those who know me know that through law school, I've been a bit of a machine. I started most every day by 5 a.m. I studied 6 or 7 days per week, and I read every page that was assigned. Time was precious to me, and I tried to maximize it. I even listened to Professor Avaram's recorded lectures in the bathtub before finals last year. I thought this was a bit weird, but when I told a classmate that I was using the tub instead of the shower to save time, she suggested that I get a shower speaker, like she has. Thank you, Erin Zatlin, for making me feel normal. But my carefully controlled schedule and life were blown up when I started in the clinic last semester. There, I engaged with real clients and learned client-centered lawyering. I was forced to slow down and listen carefully as low-income workers told me about their lives and legal problems in non-linear ways. I had to think creatively to problem solve as the facts changed, usually for the worse. In the beginning, I hated it. While the classroom aspect of law school had come somewhat naturally to me, this was something that I felt like I just wasn't good at. I was discouraged because I had come to law school full of hope, thinking how I would help people and advocate for those who felt bullied by the law. But I was frankly uncomfortable with the messiness and unpredictability of it. In time, I came to understand that I need to listen with both my critical, legal brain and with my heart. My empathy and humanity are not something to be turned off when I address a legal problem. I don't mean to imply that being human is isolated to how we practice the law. Of course, it applies to how we move through the world and interact with everyone that we encounter. Immanuel Kant wrote that we should act so as to treat people as ends in themselves, never as mere means. And since we lost our beloved classmate Bruno, we have shared countless stories and memories of him. He made everyone he came in contact with feel valued. He was uniquely human, and we can all learn from his example how to slow down, listen, and engage with people. And to you, my classmates, I say thank you. Thank you for including me in your study groups, lunchtime discussions, and celebrations. I am proud to know you and to have shared this journey with you. Thank you for being my friends. I cannot wait to see what you will do in the world, but I hope that you will keep being human while you do it.
Thank you, Jennifer. Each year, the third-year council holds elections to choose who will speak on behalf of the class. The students selected Melina Hettiaratchi this year. Melina left her hometown of Montgomery, Alabama to pursue a Bachelor's of Science in Early Childhood Education with a concentration in the Holistic Child from Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. While at Mercer, Melina found her voice advocating for her classmates through the Student Government Association. She also learned the value of education and community while teaching and mentoring students facing poverty and homelessness. Melina's focus at Hastings has been on education equity, youth advocacy, and community development. Her work serving the Hastings and Tenderloin neighborhood community knows no bounds. She has been an extraordinary student leader, serving as the internal vice president and treasurer of the Hastings Association of Youth Advocates, a first-year gala representative and co-president of the Hastings Public Interest Foundation. She is the chair of the Tenderloin Community Outreach Board and the class of 2019 president of the Associated Students of UC Hastings, or ASUH. Melina has also represented clients through the Social and Economic Empowerment Clinic and provided legal education trainings through the Community Group Advocacy Clinic. Melina has worked tirelessly to build a sense of community at Hastings and beyond. After commencement, Melina will be moving to Kentucky to be closer to family and work on community development initiatives and family welfare conditions in the Southeast. Please welcome to the podium Melina Hettiaratchi.
Good afternoon to the class of 2019. And to all of those who are here to specifically celebrate us today and all the hard work we did to get here. My name is Melina Hettiaratchi, and I am beyond thankful to have been chosen by you to speak today. I was going to talk about how we have this newfound privilege in our titles and degrees that we have worked so hard for and certainly earned, a privilege that compels us to advocate and represent those in need. But there are people on this stage who are way more qualified to do that, and you've actually learned from most of them inside or outside of the classroom already. So today, I'm going to get a little nostalgic and hope that it helps us move forward as we take these next steps together. First, a reminder of what we shared while we were at Hastings. I think we need reminding that this absolutely wild ride that defines the class of 2019 is unique from those who came before us and those who will follow. For us, our con law professors began checking Twitter before starting class because we were seeing unprecedented tests on the Constitution. Yes, I said it. We were discussing interpretations of the Second Amendment as we saw dramatically different policy responses from the most violent and deadly school shootings that have happened on record in this country. We were literally in the middle of the major movements and legal shifts of our generation. When the Muslim ban came down, we went to the airports. When the Ninth Circuit, just down the road, issued its opinion holding that ban unconstitutional, we were listening live in the classroom. When the Me Too movement lifted the voices of victims of sexual harassment everywhere, especially in the workplace, we were in classes on gender, employment, and ethics, analyzing what this meant for the future clients and colleagues of ours. Together, we have watched and celebrated women making history over these last few years. Women in Saudi Arabia can drive now. Yep. The first woman was nominated by a major political party for president of the United States. It's a list, guys. You might want to wait. The Women's March in 2016 was likely the largest demonstration day on record, with a massive sister march right outside these doors. And one more, and then a big cheer, okay? More women are serving in Congress than ever before. Now cheer. And we can't forget we saw a royal wedding with a real-life American princess, multiple royal babies, and the end of a 108-year drought of the Chicago Cubs. I can't believe all of that happened and more while we were in class, reading court opinions, juggling jobs and externships, running several clubs and organizations, and doing all of that networking. We've been together through a time in history that has been incredibly challenging and yet beautiful. And truthfully, it was much the same for me in the classroom. Until now, it's been difficult, if not terrifying, to actually see that beauty. Because it's been so hard for so many of us to get to this day. We've lost friends and loved ones, missed birthdays and weddings, given up so many of the things and people that bring us joy. Some of us have lost our way multiple times. Personally, I spent a lot of time each semester wondering why I did this. The pressure to be the best in courses I would have never chosen for myself, or to find a job that I probably wouldn't even like, or to take on financial debt that I probably won't ever pay off. But I had lost touch with what brought me here. And I know I'm not alone in that, because so many of you have helped me get through those fears. You've reminded me that I'm capable and strong, and not knowing what comes next is not the end of the world. It's just not knowing what the next adventure is. So I want to give that back to you. As we embark on that next adventure, here's my call to action, which is actually a quote from the Legend of Zelda video game. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Take this community we've made, and remember, you're not alone. Lean on each other. Ask for help. Take time to share a meal or coffee. Go on vacation. Schedule FaceTime calls. Volunteer for something that matters to you, and invite the rest of us. This community has gone through fire together, literal wildfires, and come out so much stronger. And if your biggest question is what's next, what am I supposed to do now? I want to remind you, no one ever said finishing law school meant you'd have it all figured out or that you had to. I don't have a job yet, so, but I'm here. Thank you. And if you're open to suggestions for something specific, I do have something. On behalf of the graduating class of ASUCH, of the Class Council of ASUCH, I invite you to consider giving to the 2019 Class Gift Campaign to support an annual Native Law and Policy Symposium. In collaboration with the UC Hastings Legacy Committee and the Intertribal Sinkyone and Wilderness Council, we hope to provide a space for scholarship, advocacy, and policy reform on the many legal issues affecting tribes in Northern California and the greater United States. Horrific issues which are largely ignored or even perpetuated by the existing legal system. We're proud to bring back the Class Gift Campaign with a gift that will strengthen the Hastings community by acknowledging and addressing wrongs of the past that bear the Hastings name. And we hope you'll join us in supporting the healing of communities past and present. Some of you have seen information about this at the reception on the beach, and an official email will go out on Monday that'll tell you why we chose this gift and what we need to make this a success. With that, I hope you feel inspired to give and support our Hastings community when and however you can. This wasn't an easy road for any of us, and it still isn't over. But just remember, it's dangerous to go alone, so take this with you. Thank you, and go Sharks.
Thank you, Melina. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Willie L. Brown, Jr. Although he served over 30 years in the California State Assembly, spending 15 years as its speaker, he will forever be known as the mayor. Mayor Brown was the 41st mayor of San Francisco, serving from 1996 to 2004, and the first African American to serve in that capacity. Mayor Brown was born in Mineola, a small segregated town in East Texas. He earned a bachelor's degree in political science from San Francisco State in 1955, and fortunately for us, enrolled at UC Hastings, graduating as class president in 1958. To support himself during law school, Mayor Brown worked as a janitor during school. Following law school, Mayor Brown practiced law in San Francisco, one of the few African Americans with an active practice in the city. He had a general practice, very often representing clients that other attorneys would not represent. Before long, he became involved in the civil rights movement, leading a well-orchestrated sit-in to protest housing discrimination after a local real estate office refused to work with him because of his race. Mayor Brown was first elected to the California Assembly in 1964. There, he was very quickly recognized for his political skills, great intelligence, and commitment to social justice. He became the Democrats' Assembly Whip in 1969. In 1972, he delivered a speech at the Democratic National Convention. In 1975, Mayor Brown authored and lobbied the successful passing of the consenting adult sex bill that legalized homosexuality in California. And in 1977, he voted against AB 607, which banned same-sex marriage. He won the speakership in 1980 and remained in that powerful position until 1995. Due to adoption of term limits in California, Mayor Brown left the Assembly in 1995. He walked out of the Sacramento State House and into City Hall, defeating then-incumbent Frank Jordan in the election of 1995, and San Francisco would never be the same. Although forever known for his style, Mayor Brown's term of office was marked by major substantive achievements in the city. During his tenure, San Francisco budget increased to $5.2 billion, and the city added 4,000 new employees. Indeed, he was so far-seeing that he tried to develop a plan for universal health care, but there wasn't enough in the budget to do so. Mayor Brown was known for his energy, resolve, and devotion to this great city. It is no understatement to say that he helped restore the city's spirit and pride. But, as I noted, he was and is known for his style. He was once called the best-dressed man in San Francisco by Esquire magazine. He was also a movie star. This is what you find when you do a little Google searching. Brown, this is from Wikipedia, which I know you never look at when you're preparing. Brown, quote, Brown's style made him so well known as the consummate politician that when an actor playing a party politician in 1990's The Godfather Part 3 did not understand director Francis Ford Coppola's instructions to model his character after Brown, Coppola fired the actor and hired Brown himself to play the role. Mayor Brown later appeared in the 2000 movie Just One Night as a judge. He also played himself in 2 Disney films, George of the Jungle and the Princess Diaries. Which I agree, it's one of the great ones. It is, actually. He also made a cameo appearance in the 1984 Jefferson Starship music video, Laying It on the Line, where he depicted a futuristic 1988 presidential campaign. Mr. Mayor, it is not too late to declare for the 2020 election. It is truly my honor and my pleasure to invite to the podium the Honorable and incomparable Willie Brown.
Mr. Chancellor, when it takes that long to introduce anybody, that person cannot be very significant. I'm looking for the day when I'm just introduced as president. Now, you should know, as you probably already do, that I am not London breed. The good mayor of San Francisco was scheduled to be your keynote speaker for this incredible graduating class. She had been chosen some time ago. Your faculty, your board of trustees, your management of this institution, your student leadership, and you, the most important people here, the students, had anticipated hearing from her. You didn't select me. But there remains, as is the case in many places, a dispute between some labor organizations and some management organizations, and the UC system is not immune to that kind of confrontation. And that confrontation this year translated into a collection of very distinguished, important individuals, as is the case with London breed, having to agree not to cross any picket line was established for your graduation exercise, for your time when you are celebrating. And it's unfortunate that a dispute could not be resolved where you could be unblemished in every way in this significant time in your life and in your celebration. Most of the people said, no, we can't show up. I got the call on late Wednesday, early Thursday. I should have known better than to take the call. But it was the mayor of San Francisco, an associate and a friend and a person whom I had the great pleasure of having first as a non-paid volunteer in 1996. My advice to you is don't be no non-paid volunteer. Graduate of Davis in the world of science, but focused on public policy. And she worked with my office on neighborhood services. Now that she is the boss of the city, and I still live here in the city, I can't offend the boss. So when she said, you got to go back over to Hastings and give the address that I was going to give, and she gave me an 18-page script. She wanted to make sure that I didn't get offline, so to speak. Well, that's her mistake. It was more than 60 years ago, Chancellor, that I was out there, and there were only a few of us out there waiting to get our degrees. And we didn't want to hear from anybody for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Give me the damn degree so I can go home. My relatives, who had sweated blood to get me through, had assisted me in every way, had tolerated those very late nights of my studying everything under the sun, and who really had hoped as soon as I got out of the robe and got the degree, I'd go to work and start paying them back. That's your prospect, students. They may not tell you, but that's what they're thinking on any given day. And in my time, you understand, 60 years ago, there was no such thing as student loans. We didn't have the credibility to borrow money from anybody, period. And so there were no student loans. As a matter of fact, I'm an admirer of all 300 plus of you. My class was 271, and they told us on the first day, look to your left, look to your right. Don't bother to get to know either one of those two people. They are not going to graduate. They won't be here next year. And sure enough, by the time I graduated, right and left was still there. Right finished first, left finished second, and I finished. They each wrote very big. And I kept looking at each one to make sure that if they needed correcting, I would do it. It worked completely. But let me tell you, the whole business of going to law school at that time was dramatically different from your entering law school. If there are 300 or so of you here, I am just going to speculate that you are the 300 out of the 1,000 that tried to get in here. You are holding the seat, and you're about to receive a document that says your skill set is superior to a whole collection of people. But don't let that go to your head whatsoever, because the skill set which you have acquired must be a skill set that you begin to use. And you begin to use that skill set to help correct all of the problems that exist in humankind in this nation. One of the things that London Breed symbolizes is the incredible opportunity that can be taken advantage of for purposes of moving up. While I entered Hastings, and believe me, I didn't come even close to the challenge you had to get into Hastings, because they didn't have any LSAT at that time. And I'm not sure they could vet the list of certificates that I gave them. As a matter of fact, I know they didn't check them, because I didn't have to impose executive privilege for them not to be published. But they admitted me. Dean Snodgrass admitted me to Hastings. And he said in the admission, be very clear. You graduate and go out to practice law, you have an obligation. The unique skills which you are acquiring at Hastings, with this marvelous faculty is providing you with, you've got to participate at each level. When I chatted with Mayor Breed, she said, make sure you walk them through how London Breed became the mayor of San Francisco. Make sure you walk them through how London Breed became a graduate of USF on the master's program. Walk them through how London Breed became a person who graduated from the University of California at Davis. Walk them through how London Breed became a graduate of Galileo High School. And at each one of those stages and stops, there are not the kind of expectations that London Breed would succeed in any one of those. Many of you are probably in the same identical category. She wanted you to know that she started in the public housing projects, that she had an incredible collection of people, as they say, the village, being of assistance to her, that they saw something special in her, just as Snodgrass saw something special in me, just as your relatives have seen something special in you. You are the beneficiaries of all collections of things and people who wanted to make sure you would stand and be able to get this degree on this occasion. Yes, that's the spirit that London Breed reflects. That's the spirit of London Breed demonstrates, and it also an indication that London Breed went from being a person whose first job was at Lawrence Livermore Lab as a scientific researcher. Couldn't stand it, though, because she couldn't make the decisions single-handedly. She wanted to be someplace where she could do something for people from her perspective, from people from the public housing projects she lived in, for people who had been challenged by the incredible amount of rejection that comes when its poverty is a constant visitor to you. She wanted to do something significant, and she asked me to make sure you understand that what you have and what you have achieved is just the beginning of the journey, not the end of the journey. She wanted me to make sure you understood that that journey should take you not just from 198 McAllister and the support of the buildings that are there, not just to have you think that this world cannot be corrected, as sometimes the Tenderloin seems to want to reflect the location of our institution. She wants you very much to be a part of the effort that she and others of her ilk are going to make to try to make sure this world somehow becomes a place comfortable, supportive, productive, and acceptance with justice, equal justice under the law. She says you may not want to do public service. You may not want to follow her calling. Be that as it may, you still should be a part of the delivery system for service, whether you do that or not. However, she said, the highest calling you could make would be to become the person who discharges the power from the authorizations which comes from your fellow citizens by way of the democratic process on a vote. She says in that position, you can do more. You may earn less, but you can do more on behalf of yourself and indeed on behalf of others than any other method. And she would hope that this class would somehow produce a collection of people who would want to follow her leadership. Her final words were, congratulations, and don't forget to vote for your own graduate, Kamala Harris, who's trying to become the president.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. UC Hastings College of the Law has a proud and unique relationship with the University of California. Founded in 1878, the University of California, Hastings College of the Law was California's first law school and was considered the law department of the University of California. General Counsel and Vice President of Legal Affairs for the University of California, Charles Robinson, is here today in honor of that relationship and will confer your degrees upon you. As the Chief Legal Officer for the University of California, he provides legal advice to the Board of Regents, the President, and senior leadership of the university's 10 campuses. General Counsel Robinson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to proceed with the awarding of academic degrees. As we begin the conferral, I would like to remind guests to please stay seated at this time. We will begin with our two master's programs, the Master of Studies in Law, the MSL degree, and the Masters of Law, the LLM degree. Now in its 7th year, the MSL is a one-year degree for professionals who wish to gain a sophisticated understanding of the law as it applies to their fields. The MSL program was originally aimed at health and science professionals, but has since expanded to include those who work in the fields of business and technology, as well as those professionals who wish to design their own program of legal study. In 2002, UC Hastings launched the LLM program, which draws students from all around the world. The flags of the countries our LLM graduates come from are on stage today as recognition of their contribution to UC Hastings and symbolizing the global reach of this institution. Will the candidates for the degrees of Master of Studies in Law and Master of Laws please stand? Don't be shy. Vice President Robinson, I have the honor to present these candidates for the rank of Master of Studies in Law and Master of Laws. They have successfully completed the curriculum of UC Hastings College of the Law, certified by the faculty, and are entitled to the ancient rank of Master.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I hereby confer upon you, the graduates of the class of 2019, the Master of Studies in Law and the Master of Laws degree with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
UC Hastings has been at the center of the legal community in the West for 141 years, and this is our 138th graduating class of Juris Doctor students. Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor please stand? Vice President Robinson, I have the honor to present these candidates, certified by the faculty, who have successfully completed the curriculum of UC Hastings College of the Law for the degree of Juris Doctor.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I hereby confer upon you, the graduates of the class of 2019, the Juris Doctor degree with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
Please be seated. On April 8th of this year, A member of the class of 2019 died suddenly of natural causes. Bruno Schatz was 29 years old. He was to graduate magna cum laude. Under the bylaws and regulations of the University of California, it is my pleasure to say that he will graduate today magna cum laude. Bruno graduated from UC Berkeley in English, where he competed on the D1 men's heavyweight crew teams. He was a member of the UC Hastings Honor Society, having earned 4 Whitkin Awards and 2 Cali Awards for academic excellence. He was named the 2017-2018 Student Leader of the Year. He also founded the UC Hastings Space Law Society. Bruno will be desperately missed by his family, his friends, and the entire UC Hastings community. Words cannot describe, and the mind cannot comprehend this loss. Bruno was an extraordinary young man, and the example of how he strove for excellence in all that he did, is an example to us all. It is my honor to invite Bruno's father, Joseph Schatz, a 1980 graduate of UC Hastings, to the stage to receive Bruno's degree. We now invite the class of 2019 to the stage to receive their degrees.
Mira Schwartz. Grace Mary Christelle Yao. Alexandra Steifensand. Hedwig Hunhammer. Andrea Tagland. Oda Inset. Maximilian Palou. Yuri Okura. Benjamin Thormodson. Nina Azimi. Ilana Langston. Marina Beltrao Guerra. Sila Halby Rosner. Carolina Ziadoj. Alexander Kuznetsov. Li Wang Fanyan. Sushali Ramesh. Wen Rujia. Jidong Mei, Eva Noili, Mariam Molay,
Meredith Stevenson, Melina Hettiaratchi, Jennifer Bentley, Gabrielle N. G., Sarah Elizabeth Henderson, Michaela Gia Davies, Tiffany A. Ellis, Andrew J. Carr, Meredith Lynn Moreau, Elizabeth Brownell Lockwood, Kimberly M. Willis, Emily Chandler Collins, Elizabeth Brioni Jimsevsky, Nina Rose Gliozzo, Kaylin Marie Massis, Alex Benfeld, Zachary Joseph Sanderson, Sasha Gautani Jasti, Catherine Ann Burgess, Erin Chantel Laparoli, Catherine Leilani Moinpour, Natalie Marjorie Dreyer, Kay Alexis Jimeno Kaalim, Runyang Liu, Simona Bandong, Christopher James Bauman, Elsa Marie Medeiros, Philip J. Wolf, Patrick Martinez, Wendell Lim, Stephanie Y. Chu, Elizabeth Chung, Aaron Winato Hui, Haejung Kim, Paul Song, G. A. Kang, Tingwei Tina Liang, Eric W. Cha, Isaac K. Hong, Keon Chung, John Christopher Deegan, Sammy Afrasiabi, Kimya Liagat, Yasmin Bigdeli, Rebecca C. Buxbaum, Julia Reamer, Stephanie E. Stepakis, Nina Montezeri. Brianna Zowie Andrade. Ashley R. Nickerson. Kendall Avery Chidlaw. Danielle Martin Brown. Carly S. Bruce. Allison Marie Sutherland. Jeremy T. Kirshner. Brielle Mansell. Jackson L. Stogner. Haig Eduardo Cyranosian. Victoria Mina Fennessy. Sarah Bennett. Adam D. Harris. Cyril Cottapalli. Ben Russey. Austin M. Prouty. William Francis Ryan. Parker Scanlon. Thomas Kuan Ting Wu. Dina Marie D'Alessandro. Ram Vaidya Nathum. Zachariah Haight. Matthew Dalton. David Lang. Christopher Daniel Husky. Richard Mojica. Celia Rosas. Carson Nilo. Faraz Benamju. Aryan Benamju. Ross Vartain. Benjamin Kurland. Joseph Michael Shushati. Matthew Isaac. Holly M. Jones. Emily Rose Jacobs. Asha Renouf. Benson Chow. Winifred Chan. Sam Kwok. Don Liu. Aya Kanda. Brian M. Wong. Eli Benjamin Cole. Brandon Corey Shiner. John Oni IV. Matthew S. Tratos. Felipe Pereira. Tyler Scott Summers. Deepti Prubaktur. Anna Robert. Navit Bajwa. Sonia Dilip Patel. Kelsey Moe. Adrienne Christine Nicolini. Paige Alyssa Adescavage. Kyle D. McLean. Amanda Christine Dillon. Nicole M. Chang. Rachel Michelle Leiden. Magana Begor. Grace E. Mehta. Ian Murphy. Samuel Bruckner Silverman. Margot Merrill Brooks. Lena Marie Sack. Gregory Humphreyville. Thomas Tyson. Ross Kirkbaumer. Joshua B. Gurney. Chris Dykesel. Ilya Kulish. Vignesh Ramachandran. Corey Todd Niss. Henry York. Catherine Marie Chase. Sayuri Takagawa. Grant Oglesby. Kian A. Piruz. Emily E. Eulig. Mara Sackman. Catherine M. Rowe. Sarah Doan Min. Melissa Nicole McGowan. Gabrielle M. Ruiz. Dale Michael Radford. Caroline Shen. Farah Fazli. Ryan Kujaste. Valerie Setbiol Park. Christia Noreen Orkia Miranda. Stephanie Lee Gao. Monica Maria Vesca Alfaro. Nicole Marie Vales. Aaron R. Lanier. Sierra Rose Luther. Khadija Syed. Belle Yan. Jeremy Lee Chan. Tammy Sue. Ryan Andrew Sanders. Allison Sheffer. Katie Patricia Gross. Noe Marie Felice Clarity. Loretta McRae Filippi. Melanie A. Navarro. Caitlin E. Carriger. Justin Barger. Joseph Michael Dietrich. Erin Monique Gerwitz. Ron A. Clinton. Lauren Elizabeth DeLucchi. Danielle Elizabeth Montero. Sarah Corsani. Alexander X. Cervantes. Megan Joy Marie O'Leary. Shannon Davis. Samantha House. Mallory Warner. Brittany Sky Tyler. Mike Chow. Shuyang Yao. Alexander James Padua. Vineet Jain. Christopher P. Orlando. Swetha Gopali Krishnan. Irene Lee. Laura Aubrey Anderson. Miranda Rowley. Dylan Yale Fukai. Reed Wilson Wayman Gay. Kevin J. Baum Jr. Claudia Lemire. Lin J. Wu. Emily Rebecca Rubin. Victor Enrique Escobar Troya. Ariana Danielle Grobe. Kelsey Ann Lerner. Vincent A. Moita. Melissa Beatriz Herrera. Axel Lundell Campos Kaminsky. Shujil Annie Lin. Diane T. Campbell. Tanya Louise Tarchinsky. Megan Osinski Bettles. Rebecca Young. Adam Nathaniel Arce. Vanessa Zurita Rufer. Kirsha M. Ray. Nathalie Guadalupe Camarena. Karen Madeline Martinez Morales. Leslie Alejandra Ruiz. Elia Nakvi. Jia Huang. Pardeep S. Hare. Axel B. Hernandez. Rosemary Carmen Gomez. Betsy Yadira Bras Gonzalez. Monica Alcazar. Jessica Christine Valadez. Shigi Wajiru Githogori. Alicia Rochelle Patton. Christine L. Avina. Vivian Sandoval. Sandy Gonzalez. Lucy Garcia. Cindy E. Ramirez. Debbie K. Coy. Brianna Moeller. Lupita Lopez Segoviano. Ayana R. Faison. Myra Alejandra Navarro. Claudia Yvette Cesenia. Andrew Alfonso Angeles. Ethan R.T. Pawson. Philip Scott Neal. Edgar Vargas. Perry Ellerts. Theodore Olson. Patrick J. McEwen. William T. Hanley. Carl Johnston. Nikki Bizzari. Sarah Elizabeth Stephan. Cassandra Magliosi. Patrick Boyle. Alexandra N. Vernon. Zoe Jordan. Catherine Marie Byer. Sarah Alicia Cavari. Grace Marioni Goodman. Carol Daniel. Sophie Madeline Stocks. Talia Joy Moradkanyan. Tamar M. Burke. Colin David Arsenault. Daniel Bronstein. Brittany Stang. Alicia Ray Buckley. Candace Jin Frazier. Erica R. Goodwin. Erin Louise Lee Zatlin. Alexandra Wolf. Eleanor Winter Barzak. Olivia Teresa Mollendoff. Nicholas Bennett Morel. Lauren Marshall. Catherine Kennedy. Chad Michael Perella Weeks. Camille Friedlander. Alicia Berry. Madeline Strife Boudelar. Eve Ariel Zellinger. Talia Ching Rind. Rachel Lauren Steyer. Alexander Williams. Monica Darwish. Adrian T. Subito. Ashley Ayad. Brittany Christina Smith. Isha Perry. Alexandra Dunstan Montague. Leah S. Gray. Sloka Tankala. Courtney Sarah Hayes. Bree Ellen Birdnick. Carrie Elizabeth Robertson. Alexander Russell Viali. Heather Michelle Hamilton. Daryl Markman. Anne Cecilia Curtis Sanchez. Jordan Charles Greenberg. Emily Maria Harbaugh. Delaney M. Inman. Kellen Miller. Christina Ann Alvernaz. Michaela Kaylee Human. Natalie Parker Mowbray. Eleni A. Barefoot, Marilyn E. Check, Dana Olson, Sarah F. Glendon, Arturo Reyes, Carolyn Knotts Peak, Anna Carol Lavenue, Michaela M. Harms, Kara Gojdosik, Christine Lee, and Scott Baez.
While we wait to clear the stage, let's give our graduates a rousing round of applause. By tradition, the graduating class elects a member of the faculty to give farewell remarks. This year, the class selected Professor Radhika Rao. Born in India, Professor Radhika Rao moved to the U.S. when she was a year old. Growing up in Massachusetts, Professor Rao attended Harvard College, where she studied physics and chemistry, while anchoring the WHRB news and acting in various plays. After spending a year working for a securities firm in Tokyo, she decided to abandon science for a career in the law. She graduated magna cum laude from Harvard Law School and served as the Supreme Court editor of the Harvard Law Review. After graduation, she clerked for Judge Richard Cudahy of the United States Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit and Justices Harry Blackmun and Thurgood Marshall of the United States Supreme Court. Professor Rao teaches and writes in the areas of constitutional law, comparative constitutional law, property, and the law of the human body. She has been a visiting professor at Brooklyn Law School, the University of Michigan Law School, and the University of Trento in Italy. Professor Rao was a member of the California Advisory Committee on Human Cloning and currently serves on the California Human Embryonic Stem Cell Research Advisory Committee. Please welcome to the podium Professor Radhika Rao.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Faigman, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, my faculty friends and colleagues, for your support and encouragement over the years. Most of all, thanks to you, class of 2019, for choosing me to be your faculty speaker. I am humbled and honored to be up here today. You are an amazing class, filled with boundless energy for life and a tremendous passion for social justice. Congratulations. You have reignited my own love for the law and set me on fire as a teacher, and you inspired me to fly all the way around the world just to say goodbye to you. Your experience here has been so special because you attended law school during one of the most tumultuous times in our history. Your 3 years of law school were punctuated by momentous events. Many of you may remember when I dressed up as a professor at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. On Halloween, I felt like constitutional law was no longer a theoretical subject. I was teaching you how to practice defense against the dark arts. And I held up a copy of my teaching manual, the U.S. Constitution. I wasn't joking. You entered law school in the fall of 2016, shortly after the Supreme Court proclaimed a constitutional right to marriage equality, when an African-American man with an unusual name was still our president. Those were heady days. The barriers of the past seemed to be breaking down, and it looked like we would soon witness the election of our first woman president. Instead, we were confronted with calls to build new walls and the politics of division. Your second year of law school began with the shocking events at Charlottesville and ended with the birth of the Me Too movement. Your third year saw an incredibly contentious Supreme Court confirmation battle. And today, you are graduating at what some are calling a time of constitutional crisis. These are disturbing developments, but desperate times inspire the best in us and offer unique opportunities. The past few years have demonstrated that the rule of law and the principles embodied in our Constitution are actually our best defense against the dark arts. Without the rule of law, all that's left is the reign of power. And that's not very comforting for those of us on the margins. I stand before you, a woman, a person of color, an immigrant who came to the United States at the tender age of 1. I was an alien. Now I'm a naturalized citizen. So I know what it feels like to be an outsider. But we are a nation of immigrants and outsiders. Our country was founded on dreams of liberty, equality, and justice for all. The law protects all of us who lack power and privilege. It ensures our fundamental equality, just like the majestic words inscribed on the U.S. Supreme Court: equal justice under law. Whatever your political beliefs, I think we can all agree that these are stressful times. But they have also transformed the study of law and made it even more meaningful. Each day, the headlines present us with pressing new legal questions. And class of 2019, you are so ready to take on this challenge. You participated in countless panels on the legal issues raised by the Trump presidency. Who ever heard of the Emoluments Clause before? We even created a brand new class on current issues in constitutional law to satisfy your hunger to apply the law to real-world problems. And many of you regularly attended this class, even though there was no grade or credit. For you, the study of law was much more than an abstract exercise in logic. You witnessed firsthand that the law is a living, breathing institution. The law can provide recourse when our most precious ideals are under siege and our cherished institutions in peril. Class of 2019, as I look around at all of you today, garbed in your long gowns, you actually look like you belong at Hogwarts. Like the students at Hogwarts, you are here only because of the struggles and the sacrifices made by your loving parents and your families. So on this joyous day, let us honor them. Remember that Harry, Ron, and Hermione couldn't have accomplished anything without the support of an army of family, friends, and teachers. So do not forget that we, your Hastings faculty, will always be here for you. Like the Hogwarts students who studied Latin spells and charms, such as Aloha Mora or Expecto Patronum. You have learned the legal doctrines that can open the doors of opportunity or erect protective shields against the forces of darkness. You have learned to master the magic language of the law. Now you possess the power to articulate the claims of those who cannot speak for themselves. You understand stare decisis, and you know how to bramble bush, to cut away and distinguish inconsistent precedent, while at the same time drawing analogies and building upon the helpful cases. And now that you are proud graduates of Hastings College of Law, you have the opportunity to go out there and use your knowledge to stand up for what you believe. I went to law school because I was inspired by the heroism of courageous lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Atticus Finch. We are once again living in an age when lawyers have become our heroes, fighting for truth, justice, and the American way. In fact, when I dressed up as a Hogwarts professor last Halloween, my 13-year-old daughter thought about dressing up as Wonder Woman. But she finally decided to go as another superhero, the notorious RBG. And she was not the only one. Hundreds of girls dressed up in black robes with lacy white collars last Halloween. So lawyers really are the new superheroes. This is why I am so proud to be a part of the Hastings community, because doing justice is part of our job description. Justice is in the Hastings motto inscribed on our seal, Fiat Justitia, or let justice be done. Hastings is at the forefront in using the law to fight for justice. So many of our eminent graduates and alumni are working to transform the world and make it a better place. Just to mention a few, the late Jeff Adachi was the model of the Hastings superhero. As the San Francisco public defender, he dedicated his life to achieving equal justice for all. Another Hastings alum, Julia Olson, is representing children in a path-breaking lawsuit against climate change. And yet another Hastings alum, Senator Kamala Harris, may turn out to be the first woman president. Like these amazing examples of the Hastings spirit, I am sure that you too will seize the opportunity and use your law degrees to fight for justice. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Thank you. To you, the class of 2019.
Thank you, Professor Rao. On behalf of UC Hastings, I would like to extend the college's warm appreciation to everyone who participated in today's ceremonies. I ask that the audience and graduates remain seated until the faculty begins the recessional. Then I ask that the audience remain seated until the graduates have exited the auditorium. Guests may meet graduates in front of the building on Grove Street. Congratulations to all of our graduates. This concludes our formal commencement program. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.